We go all the way back to January the 14th of the year 2023 when the Nashville Predators were back home at Bridgestone Arena for the first time in a while to face off against the Buffalo Sabres. John Hines deploys his lines in the following way. Forsberg, Parssinen, and Duchesne make up your new first line. Niederreiter, Johansson, and Granlund, Smith, Glass, and Sissons, Trennan, Novak, and Janot your fourth line. McDonough and Yossi, Ekholm, and Fabro, Luzon, and McEwen. And we mentioned Carrier is day-to-day. We found that out before this game started. UC Saros gets the start in net, and we're just 13 seconds into the game. It's good to see the Nashville Predators back at Bridgestone Arena. Good to see the home crowd back out there checkerboarding. Was that supposed to be a thing? It didn't work out very well. 13 seconds into the game, UC Saros comes up with a save on Thompson. First shot on goal of the game. 45 seconds in, Saros comes up with another save on noted Pred killer Skinner. 3:48 into the first period, Saros a save on Tuck. Buffalo controlling the early part of this first period. 6:07 into the first period, we see Luukkonen making his first appearance. He comes up with a save on Duchesne for Buffalo. 8:02 at the first period, Saros comes up with a save on Olofsson. 8:10 of the first period, McEwen's off the box. 2 minutes for tripping, gets called back up, and before 8.5 minutes can expire, he's already in the box. Saros has to come up with a save on Cozens, and then overall, it was a decent PK by the Nashville Predators, but shortly after, at 11:37, there's Skinner already. His 18th of the season gives Buffalo a 1-0 lead. It was a breakaway featuring numerous moves. He had so much time, it looked like he was on a shootout opportunity or a penalty shot. Skinner converts, outweighting UC Saros, and finally tucking the puck in. What a matchup that was. 14:42 of the first period, Lyubushkin's off the box, 2 minutes for elbowing the captain, Roman Josi, converting on the power play with his 11th goal of the season, tying the game up at 1 apiece. It was a long shot, partially stopped, but then had enough to trickle over the goal line, tying the game up for the Nashville Predators. 15:51 of the first period, Smith is off the box, 2 minutes for goalie interference. That's Cole Smith. He tried to cut well ahead of the blue paint, but ended up making connection with the goalie. It is ruled to be goaltender interference. Outstanding PK thanks to Buffalo and their number of unforced errors, like back passing between the point and putting the puck outside the zone on their own. So good job by the PK, but Buffalo certainly helped them out there. We at the end of the first period, it's a tie game at 1 apiece, but the shots on goal are Buffalo 14 and the Nashville Predators 6. 23 seconds into the second period, UC Saros has to come up with a save on Olofsson. 1:23 into the first period, Luukkonen comes up with a save on Johansson, but 2:05, there's Cozens again, 14th goal of the season, giving Buffalo a 2-1 lead. Fabro got caught pinching, led to a 2-on-1, and that speed transition and counterattack for Buffalo for a second time in this game has been successful. 7:21 of the second period, Luukkonen comes up with a save on Novak plus Janot's jam. Ruled a no goal, checked by the officials to see if it was a goal. It was, in fact, upheld to be a non-goal, saying that Janot had pushed the puck and the goaltender's pad and everything into the net. 8:19 in the second period, Forsberg's off to the box, 2 minutes for slashing a completely needless penalty in the neutral zone by Philip Forsberg. Olofsson converts for Buffalo, giving them a 3-1 lead. His 17th goal of the season. It was a one-time bomb from the right circle. Just, you could tell by the sound that it made when it came off the stick and went into the net just how heavy of a shot this was. 3-1 now in favor of Buffalo. 10:20 into the second period, Saros comes up with a save on power. 12:41, Luukkonen comes up with a save on Granlund's deflection at close range. At 15:10, Luzon starts to make things interesting. His third goal of the season makes it 3-2 now in favor of Buffalo. It was a heavy shot from the top of the circle. Luzon has been a pleasant surprise offensively at times this season now. 3-2 in favor of Buffalo. And before I could finish scribbling down that note, or Paul McCann could make the announcement, 15:50 into the second period, so just 40 seconds later, Johansson's 10th goal of the season ties the game up 3 apiece. It was a deflection in the slot area. Good job by Ryan Johansson. We're here, great hand-eye coordination, and the Nashville Predators have suddenly and very quickly tied the game up at 3 apiece. 16:45 of the second period, Lyubushkin's off the box, 2 minutes for interference. All of the momentum in favor of the Nashville Predators at this point. Luukkonen comes up with a save on Forsberg. 2 shots on goal for the Preds. Unfortunately, just too much standing still in the zone during the power play, and that made it an easy kill for the Buffalo Sabres. 19:47 of the second period, Yossi's off the box, 2 minutes for tripping. We hit the end of the second period, tie game, 3-3, Buffalo out shooting beating Nashville 23-22. So the Nashville Predators pick up 16 shots on goal in the second period. Carryover of 147. Saros has to be strong on the penalty kill, coming with a big save on Rasmus Dahlin. And at 4:01 of the third period, Saros comes up with a save on Thompson's backhand in the low slot at close range. A high danger scoring chance right there. 5:57. Jost is off to the box. 2 minutes for slashing. And again, the momentum seems to be going in the Nashville Predators direction, but it's Okposo scoring for Buffalo shorthanded, and it was a tip-in, his 7th goal of the season. And for the Buffalo Sabres, they were able to get into the Nashville Predators zone, gain control, and go to work. And this goal ends up being remarkably easy by Okposo, who has had good success in the past against this Nashville Predators team. 4-3 now in favor of the Buffalo Sabres. Saros then, while the Predators continue on the power play, has to come up with another save on a 2-on-1 on Thompson on the shorthanded rush. 9:51 of the third period. Luukkonen comes up with a save on Granlund. We flipped it back to the sheet, and we find it's 16:49 that Quinn scores his 7th goal of the season. It was a kind of a soft goal on Saros right there, trickling through the 5-hole. Buffalo now leads 5-3. So many odd man rushes here towards the end of the third period. Buffalo was already very perceptive on the counter attack and using their speed, but now that the Nashville Predators are taking more and more risks trying to get back in this game, it has just opened the game wide open for Buffalo. Luukkonen would come up with numerous saves and scrambles during the 6-on-5 scenario, but the Preds would be unable to convert. As a matter of fact, the Preds would put so many shots towards the net that they would finish the game with 38 after only having 6 in the first period, so 32 in the next 2 periods. Buffalo would finish the game with 33 shots on goal, but that doesn't make a difference to them because they won this game 5-3 at Bridgestone Arena. And for the Nashville Predators, it was going to be a tough game already. Buffalo is fast. They're high scoring. They've got a lot of dynamic, young scoring offensive talent. And for the Nashville Predators, they had to play a much, much cleaner, crisper game than they did last night. But that being said, 3-3 in the third period, and you have a power play, and you give up a shorthanded goal that ends up being what costs you the game. So whatever the Nashville Predators had to do, they had done enough up until that point. But that shorthanded goal, absolutely a dagger and a killer. And it sent whatever component of Bills Mafia was in town, which by the sounds of it was a lot of them at Bridgestone Arena. That sent them out onto Broadway partying for the rest of the night and having a good time. But for the Nashville Predators now, 3 losses in a row, and that record starts creeping back towards 500 again. So for the Preds, it's that continuous story of they win a couple and then they lose a couple. They look good for a week. They look bad for a week. This game right here, the Preds just they let it get away from them. This was much like what happened in Toronto. A late penalty in Toronto ends up costing them a power play goal against. This time, somehow, inexplicably, a power play 4 ends up yielding a shorthanded goal against and ends up costing you the game on home ice. But that first period was a sleepwalk for the Preds. Only 6 shots on goal. That's Rebirth Sports full game recap. I have a lot more analysis, a lot more opinions, and I'm starting to drift into that area right now. So let's get to that right now.